back to my channel, sports fans. Okay, let's get into this one right here. Stephen A. Smith, snitch, liar, sellout, all the above. Stop it! Stop it! Stop it! I hate these guys that's trying to give Stephen A. Smith all this credit now. Guys like Dreamers Pro, I mean, well, he works for ESPN, Fox, Disney. Anyways, folks, but why are we giving Stephen A. Smith credit for something he should have been doing the whole time, folks? He basically helped LeBron James destroy the NBA, right? They went 50-50 on destroying the NBA. And now he wants to clap back at LeBron James and act like this and that and that and this? No, folks. I don't give this guy no credibility. If anything, he's participating in the soap opera to boost the NBA up. That's it, folks. The NBA, we talked about this yesterday ad nauseum. The NBA cannot sell itself based on on-court greatness. It can't. It don't exist. You have a meddling team like the Bulls beating the Lakers with LeBron, Reeves, and Luka. This ain't a good NBA, folks. It's not. To me, the whole thing looked rigged last night. What was LeBron James doing? Inbounding the ball, throwing the ball like a, I don't know, like a 5-year-old? A 5-year-old that needs to be taught how to make a strong bounce pass. That pass was not even a good, it wasn't going to get to his teammate. Not even close, folks. It wasn't even close. What was that? What was that? So you guys can buy into that. You know what I hate? A lot of people, they will crucify Stephen A. Smith for being a sellout and everything else, because that's all he is, man. He's a big sellout. He'll do anything for money. He'll say anything for money. All the stuff that he's been saying about LeBron James, woo, since he came aboard in 2012. Remember, he had the skinny on his radio show on the decision. He wasn't even on First Take. He was already saying that he had the skin. Nobody even knew about Miami. But he said LeBron James is going to Miami and going to play with Chris Bosh and Dwayne Wade. Yeah. Yep. And for sure it happened. So, and we all know he started taking up for LeBron James ever since he had, parked his butt on first and 10 and then went to First Take. Well, he was a guest on First and 10. But, when they started First Take, him and Skip. But this guy has had no credibility since he was on First Take, folks. He hasn't. And the crazy part is, a lot of these analysts, when it comes to LeBron James, has had no credibility. But on the flip side, when they talk about other things in other sports, they have credibility. It's the craziest thing you ever seen. They have to lie for this guy, but will balance it out with the truth about the other stuff, about other sports, about other sporting news. This is crazy, folks. They're trying to tell you a loser is a winner and a meltdown artist is a what? Is a clutch player. They're trying to tell you a guy who don't lead guys, who don't build them up from the draft, is a leader. This is crazy, folks. They're trying to tell you a guy who has no offensive skill set, really, besides dunking and doing layups. And I'm talking about offensive skill set on the highest level. Like, we know he can't shoot the mid-range on the high level. All of his career, he couldn't shoot the three on the highest level, right? All of his career, couldn't shoot free throws at a high level. And it don't even have to be at the highest level. We ain't talking about 90% or nothing like that. But when we're talking about high level, it's talking about being one of the best at doing it. When we're talking about the highest level, we're talking about elite. Maybe you might be an elite free throw shooter, okay? Or maybe you might be a good free throw shooter. Or maybe you might be an elite mid-range shooter, right? We know who those people are. Or you might be a good mid-range shooter, right? Or you might be an elite three-point shooter. Or you might be a good three-point shooter, right? You might be an elite leader of men. Or you might just be good, right? When we talk about, see, a lot of people might be confused with that, right? When we talk about elite leader of men, we're talking about Magic Johnson, right? After Kareem left, where was he at? Back in the finals? Michael Jordan, elite leader of men, right? Look, we had the first time when he won, that three-peat. And then we talk about, we just go down the line. You can even say Bill Russell. Yes, Bill Russell had help. But he's an elite leader of men because to have all that help, it's not good. A lot of times it don't mesh. Guys want to do different things. They have different attitudes. They want the ball. They want to, you know what I'm saying? They want to be in the spotlight because everybody is good on the team. It don't mesh. Sometimes it don't mesh. Look at the big three Celtics in the 2000s. One championship, two finals appearances, and they were together for like 6 years. Look at Dwayne Wade. I would call him leader of men to me, right? But look what he squeezed out of that. It's not easy. You know, old Shaq, well, getting old Shaq that don't want to listen. You got to beat up Alonzo Mourning or watch Gary Payton and, you know, what's this guy called? Antoine Walker. You know, a lot of those guys, you know, white chocolate. He had to get all these guys to mesh. A lot of these guys to mesh and listen, and let's do it. Leader of men, right? Let's think about on an elite level. I consider him on an elite level, right? Because he was able to do that, and he was only in the league for a couple years. That's crazy. Until he got with LeBron James, and that messed everything up. We think about, who's this guy I want to say? Of course, Tim Duncan, leader of men, elite, my dude. I want to say somebody else. I can't. It went away from me. Okay, I would say people like good leader of men, maybe that can lead but ain't like, you know. Let's see. I would say Hakeem, leader of men when he pulled off that back-to-back. Good leader, not elite. Maybe Dirk Nowitzki. He went to 2 finals. You know, went 1-1. You guys can name some, and you get my drift. Shaq, he's not a good leader of men or elite. He's just not. LeBron James isn't good or elite. He's never took, you know, he's never took guys that were, you know, coming out of the draft onto the team and took them like that weren't superstars already, that weren't stars already. You know, LeBron James is not a leader of men. Curry, I would consider him a good leader of men. Not elite, but good. Giannis, maybe, I don't know, man. He was, I give him for that period of time up until he won the championship. But after that, he's been subpar. You know, Chris Paul, he's a great, one of the greatest point guards of all time. But unfortunately, he's just not a good or elite leader of men. I just can't give it to him. And we're going to talk about Bill Russell in a minute. I already said his name, but that's just it, folks. You probably could mention some more. I can't think of any more. I'm sure there's, you know, way more. You know, of course, we'll say Larry Bird. elite when it comes to leader of men. Guys like this, folks. I would say Dr. J, he kind of falls in the middle for me. He kind of falls in the middle. I wouldn't say he's just good, or I wouldn't say he's elite. He's in the middle for me. So LeBron James is just not elite or good in just about anything. He's not a good rebounder. He's definitely not elite. To me, he's not even a good facilitator, right? I think the era that he plays in is more lackadaisical than anything. The floor is wide open. The guys are real lackadaisical. So yeah, I mean, Stephen A. Smith, he don't have any credibility with me, folks. And you know, you have a lot of people out here trying to promote his credibility now because he's trying to clap back at LeBron James. To me, I've only really heard me and sports and fitness friends say, we don't care for this guy. We don't care. See what'll happen? A lot of these players and coaches and analysts, they will lose all credibility by saying some dumb stuff over and over again. And then, you know, you'll have dudes on these channels who are only out for money. So they will go then, once they say something that we've been saying, something that's been logical for a long time, something that they should have been saying all along. When they say something that's obvious, you'll have these channels and these platforms promoting these guys just for views, just because they're famous, right? Just because there's somebody in the sports world, or, like I said, famous. No, when you lose credibility, you lose credibility. It don't matter if you say something, that makes sense later. And a lot of these athletes and analysts and, who ain't about nothing and be saying stupid stuff all the time, they now want to come back and say stuff that we've been saying all along. So, I don't know, maybe like when LeBron James retires or things keep going downhill for LeBron James, you will see Stephen A. Smith trying to jump on our side and be trying to say stuff that we've been saying all along, folks. The whole damn time we've been saying these things. And to me, this is just, I don't know, because it seems fake to me, staged to me, right? Need to find a way to get Stephen A. Smith on the other side of righteous, common sense, right? Telling the real truth, like we've been doing it all the time. So this little fake LeBron scuffle that they had, it seems like this is the way to get Stephen A. Smith on our side. Not that we want him on our side, because he's a sellout. He's a fake. He's a phony. He's a snitch. He's an Uncle Tom. All these things, folks. He can never come back. So I always say this. This don't have nothing to do with him. But I'm just saying, some things you can't come back from. You can't get your black man card back. You can't get your nuts back. You can't get your dignity back. You can't get a lot of stuff back. Because of the stuff you did for so long, Stephen A. Smith. Oh, if you thought we did it, if you thought that LeBron James was top 2 all the time, or all time, all you did was have to explain yourself. It ain't got nothing to do with him never getting in trouble with the law, him being good to his family, him never cheating, none of this stuff. It has to do with his own court skills. Being a real leader of men, not jumping team to team and going to get super teams. Having a real offensive skill set besides dunks and layups at a high level or at a good level. Right? Because to me, remember we was talking about at a high level or a good level, right? Or at the highest level, whatever. LeBron James ain't even a good facilitator to me. To me, I consider for you to be a good passer, facilitator, I would consider maybe like for a career, you got to average at least 9 assists. Double digits is the highest level, upper echelon. So when they say Magic Johnson, you just smack yourself in the face, because 7 assists, 8 assists is an insult to Magic Johnson. Magic Johnson ain't even with 9, 10 assists, really. That was an average season for Magic Johnson. Man, we talking about Magic, 12 and 13 assists. And all the good facilitators, like John Stockton and Steve Nash and Chris Paul and, these type of guys, Bob Cousy, these type of guys like this, folks. So to me, he's not even good. Or play, that role at the highest level. So all Stephen A. Smith did was lie. See, these dudes will bash Stephen A. Smith. I ain't even gonna call the names. I'm gonna let it be what it is, because they know who they are. You can't bash the dude and then go back and pat the dude on the back, because he's doing what he was supposed to do years ago, and he still ain't explained to us how LeBron James is top 2. Besides using 4 championships, 4 MVPs, 4 Finals MVPs, he still ain't told us. So now it's that. Then what about Kareem Abdul-Jabbar? Because he don't have 4 Finals MVPs. He has 2 more championships than LeBron, 2 more MVPs than LeBron. Didn't go jump team to team. No, folks. No. He came to the Bucks and took Oscar Robertson to a higher level. Right? Because we know Oscar, he was in his last days. Nevertheless, he's never told us what makes LeBron James skill-wise. If he's playing with the league is going down as far as skill, as far as big man, as far as positional basketball. In the 2010s, in the late 2000s. What is it, folks? See, I kind of use the Joker thing, right? To me, like I said, I'm more impressed if in this weak soft era, Joker lead the league in scoring. Go get me 33, 35, whatever like that, and grab me 14 rebounds a game. Okay, and you could even give me 3-4 assists. I don't care. I want you to show me your dominant center. That's what I want you to show me, because you're not a facilitator. It's fake. You don't bring the ball up. You don't facilitate. You just got the ball in your hand at all times. You're really not a facilitator. And there's no competition, period. So you're not, even if you say you're facilitating against nobody. But what I'm trying to say is, to me, it would be more impressive if LeBron James, in this soft week era, would have gave me 32 and grabbed me, what, 10 to 12 rebounds? And I don't know. I don't care about assists. I don't, unless you're giving me double-digit assists, I don't care. I don't care. And you gave me 4 assists, I'll be cool with that. Give me 32 and give me 12 rebounds. And then I'll be like, yeah, this dude got skills at the highest level. You know what I'm saying? That's what I would say. But he can't. He can't, folks. Most of his stats come in blowout losses, or when he's ahead in a blowout. That's where most of his stats come from. Stat pattern. Yep. Yep. And it's been like that for a long time, folks. So we might get back to that in a minute, but I just hate to see these people pat Stephen A. Smith on the back after they buried him in the sand. And this is a way for Stephen A. to try to transition to our side, and act like he got some common sense now because he got in this fake beef with LeBron James. It's setting it up real good, folks. Also, I was looking at some stuff on Stephen A. Snitch. I didn't know his grandmother is white. So his grandmother is white? Wow. Okay. So does that mean his mother is white too? Obviously she's not white. She would have to be mixed in. I'm confused. I learned that 50 Cent's grandmother was white too. That tripped me out too. Like white, not mixed white. Where you say you were from? Like I don't know. Was it Midwest? Was it Louisville, Kentucky, or Tennessee? Somewhere in that area. I thought, yeah, but I found out 50 Cent's grandmother was white, and then when I see him, in pictures with this black lady, I was confused. I was like, wow. But anyways, yeah, this is even through genealogy, folks. You can punch this up on the computer and say 50 Cent grandmother white. It'll say, yep. I didn't believe it. And then, boom, it was right on the family tree. She's white. So I guess his mother was mixed. But they won't tell us who his father is. See, that's what you gotta yell suspicion when those things happen. There's no name, there's no picture, no nothing, folks, of a celebrity parent like that. And I get it. Some people go there, hey man, none of your business, privacy. Folks, once you put yourself out there as a celebrity, it's over. You ain't got no more privacy. If he puts his mama out there, why is he hiding his daddy? Why is he hiding his daddy? How much did he pay Google to hide this? Right? And black people are what? Indigenous. So, well, they're Indians. They're just they're not Native American Indians, but they're the Indians of the Americas. Whatever you don't want to believe, in indigenous culture, you were what your mother was. That's how it was. This new religion thing, you are what your father is. And that's why I was laughing, because we all know about Kamala Harris. Her father or her grandfather is white, supposedly. But a lot of people don't trace her back to her father is just Indian, and this father is Indian too. But the grandfather she's given us is white Irish, pure white Irish. So that means she wanted, if we go by the religious paternal, like y'all want to go to, for all the religious people, they say, you are what your father is. Okay, then Kamala Harris will be white. So why is she screaming a black woman? Right? Why was all the people screaming she's a black woman if her grandfather is white, pure white? But anyways, in indigenous culture, you are what your mother is. Okay? Indigenous culture, African culture, Indian culture, any. The Asian culture, indigenous culture, the what do we call these people? I can't remember what do they call it? Pacific Islanders? They call them something else too. But in their culture, you are what your mother is, right? That's the indigenous culture. You were what your mother was, right? It goes through the maternal bloodline, not the father, the mother. And that's how it was. That's how it was around the world until, Christianity went around the world. You were what your mother was. And, to me, I guess, I don't know. To me, I think you are what your parents are. I don't think you're one. And, I think a lot of cultures did that to keep, the bloodline in the family as far as indigenous culture and keep the inheritance in the family. That's why they did that. As far as religion, why they start doing that, so they can strew around people's culture and mix them all up so people will be confused, right? And they start going by these surnames and stuff like that. That's a big reason why they start going by surnames. But it's a whole different story. But yeah, Stephen A. Smith is a phony. And I'm not going to say whoever supports him now and patting him on the back is a phony, but I'm just saying, folks, you got to stop. Yeah, and now all of a sudden he's over there with Fox News. What? So you over there with the Republicans? I'm surprised ain't nobody said nothing about that, folks. He over there with the Republicans. Wow. Now don't switch back when Trump get done messing everything up. Don't try to switch back, son. Don't switch back. But the thing I was going to talk about was why I have Bill Russell in my top 5, and I guess what is he, 4? I got him number 4. And actually, did I take him out? Oh man, it's gonna be some beef in that. Let's just say I'm gonna keep him in, because I always had him at 4, and then I think I put Kobe at 4, and I got Magic at 5. I just can't move Magic, so I'm gonna put Kobe and Russell. I can put Kobe at 1A and put Russell at 1B. But why I have Bill Russell right there, and I had him there before I had Kobe, was not only is he, top 2 in rebounding of all time, and he's top 2 defensive player at all time. And I guess, when I say top 2, we're counting Bill Russell. I mean, Wilt Chamberlain, that, as far as rebound titles, if they were around, he would have had, I don't know, he probably would have just split it with Wilt Chamberlain, right? Maybe, 5, maybe 6 rebound titles. I don't know, maybe about, same thing, 5, 6 block titles. Same thing with Defensive Player of the Year, 5 or 6, right? And I guess he would have had to split the first team with, he would have to split the defensive first team with Wilt Chamberlain. And we look at, if I'm not mistaken, he won 2 championships as a head coach. And if I'm not mistaken, I thought I saw that he won 2 other championships as like an assistant head coach. Tell me if I'm wrong about the assistant coach. I thought he was assistant coach for the other 2. But what got me was it was 1969, and they were going against that, trio of Wilt Chamberlain, Elgin Baylor, and, Jerry West. And they didn't have to win, folks. They didn't have to win. And a lot of people in this game 7 was going for the Lakers. And before the game, or I guess we could say the day before, whatever like that, the Lakers owner was going around telling the media and everybody that he guaranteed a win. He guaranteed a win. And that's one thing. You might hear that, it's whatever. But when they showed up to the arena in LA pre-game, Bill Russell and the rest of his team looked up in the rafters, and they already had the balloons up there, and they was ready to celebrate. And from what I know, Jerry West, he was kind of pissed off. But Bill Russell was pissed. And he went back and he rallied the troops. And basically, he said, run these dudes rugged. Rugged. He said, run them rugged. Because he already knew Wilt was nursing injuries. And Jerry West, had some injuries too. Not as bad as Wilt, but He ran them rugged until Wilt Chamberlain basically bowed out. Not that he gave up. He didn't have any choice. His damn legs, or his leg went out. And he never came back. I think it was like, if I ain't mistaken, I want to say it was halfway through that fourth quarter. And the rest was history, folks. The rest was history. And what it tells me is, when you smack Bill Russell in the face like this, a dude like Stephen A. Smith, who isn't really a basketball analyst, is a fake basketball analyst, and only cares about money. And this is how bad, how low the NBA and ESPN has stooped to sell this tanking NBA, that they would disrespect Bill Russell like this and other players. But when we talk about a real leader, folks, Bill Russell was a real leader. And like I was saying earlier, he could manage attitudes. Just because you have a whole bunch of great Hall of Famers, and some of these players, if they didn't win championships on the Celtics, they would not have been Hall of Famers. And people might say, well, a lot of people wouldn't. No. AI never won a championship. Karl Malone never won one. John Stockton never won one. Carmelo Anthony never. A lot of guys never won a championships in their Hall of Famers. But because they won a lot of championships, they're Hall of Famers. You know, hey, Clay, I don't know. I don't know if he's a Hall of Famer if he doesn't win those championships with Curry and be a splash brother with Curry. I don't know if he could lead a team. But Curry would be an all-time great Hall of Famer without the championships. So what I'm trying to say is, I ain't trying to say all those guys, but it's a lot of those guys on that went to the Hall of Fame on those Celtics teams in the 60s that if they wasn't winning championships, they won't be in the Hall of Fame. But nevertheless, Bill Russell was a captain. He was the anchor. He was the leader. And it was a lot of good guys on that team. And like I was telling you, just because you got a lot of good guys on the team, that don't mean it's going to work out, folks. Ask LeBron James. You know, when got all these good players and it ain't worked out. It done backfired. So, you know, that was basically the nail in the coffin for me. The greatness of Bill Russell. He cared more about playing a role to win championships and told his team, we all got to play a role at the highest level, and we're going to be able to do something nobody else will ever do again, folks. And it hasn't been done. It hasn't been done. To show up and, you know, like I said, you got all these good players, different attitudes, I mean, different feelings. You know, this guy wants the spotlight, this guy, you know. What about being the greatest team of all time? That's what Bill Russell said. I mean, we ain't seen nothing like it yet, folks. Not even close. Not even close. Michael Jordan's 2 3-peats. Look what happened to Shaq and Kobe. Shaq and Kobe, I mean, you can blame Shaq more than Kobe, that's fine. But it's really both of them fault. You know, Kobe was arrogant too. You know, say if it was Bill Russell, right? Maybe he would have knew how to calm down Shaq. And tell Shaq, well, let's look at the bigger picture. Yes, you're in LA now. You got the fame. You're gonna continue to get the fame. But what about when you retire? Don't you want to say you was better than Michael Jordan? You're gonna be the greatest player of all time if you just calm down and let's just do this for the next 3 years, 4 years. See, Bill Russell would not have wanted to be the leader in the sense that I want to be better than Shaq. I want the spotlight. Ultimately, that's what Kobe wanted. He saw Shaq's work ethic was trash. And the work ethic really didn't have to be on a high level no more, like the 90s or the beginning of 2000s, because there was really no center competition. And by the time Shaq won a 3-peat and won, 3 finals MVPs, I mean, that's something nobody has ever did but Michael Jordan, because, you know, finals MVPs won around back in the 60s. So he's in an elite class with Michael Jordan. A 3-peat with 3 straight finals MVPs. I mean, so that pisses Kobe off too, because if it weren't for Kobe, they don't even get through the West. Kobe carried those teams through the West for 2 years in a row. So I'm just saying, with Bill Russell, He managed. Don't act like, it wasn't never no attitudes and this and that. No, it don't work like that, folks. Even Wilt Chamberlain, a lot of guys didn't want to play with Wilt Chamberlain. I ain't saying he was the biggest butthole or nothing like that, but a lot of guys didn't want to play with Wilt Chamberlain. Russell was about looking at the bigger picture. So when he saw those balloons, and he said, this is true. They are trying to celebrate on top of us. They know we really don't have any gas left in the tank. We don't won 10 championships. And I think what they won, 8 or something like that in the 60s. And, a lot of our guys are tired. They're older. So, but look, let's give it one more. Let's strategize. And that's what he did one more time, because you got to remember, he's a coach. He's like one of the best strategizers of all time. And again, he ran those Lakers ragged. From one end to the other until Wilt leg gave out. It's just incredible, man. It's just incredible. You probably won't have another guy like that ever. The closest guy that reminds me to that is like, unselfish and just wanted to win was Tim Duncan. Michael Jordan to an extent, but what Bill Russell did, I gotta have him for. And no doubt, this whole thing is just like flipped upside down. They had statistical titles back then, Defensive Player of the Year, and NBA, all NBA, defensive teams all through the 60s. There's no doubt Wilt Chamberlain and Bill Russell is like top 3. Everybody's looking stupid. And with their assists and steals, it's a joke. And that's what I was telling Too Raw last night when he was talking about Joker. I think he said broke the all-time triple doubles in a season. And he was talking about Wilt Chamberlain. They're always trying to exempt Wilt Chamberlain from these records and stuff like that. And they basically, a lot of these haters in the slide media, they make remarks about who he played against, the level of competition, this and that and this. Who the hell is Joker playing against? Where's his level of competition? They act like Wilt Chamberlain didn't even play in the NBA, folks. They act like he played his whole career with the Globetrotters, or he played in the ABA. Not pooping on the ABA, but they act like his records came in the ABA. This is nuts. Wilt Chamberlain, folks. This is how you know where we are with the NBA. To not have Wilt Chamberlain top 3 is just a crime. To have LeBron James over Wilt Chamberlain is a crime. So if we want to talk about, we didn't talk about anybody's competition in certain eras, because that's what it was back then. You can't put 90s competition in the 60s competition. The world keeps changing every year. And we really won't even talk about the 2020s competition until Nick Wright and all these dummies start bringing all this up. When LeBron lost his, when he lost his championship, his 6th championship in 2018. That's when we start talking about plumbers and unathletic white guys and errors and all. What? What are you talking about? If anything, shit done got worse. It didn't get no better to where these guys are facing stiffer competition. What are we talking about? I don't get it. I just don't understand it. Every era, that's who you played. Just because you didn't come out on top in your era, as far as measuring up to the guys in the past eras, that ain't another era's fault. And that's what they're trying to make it look like. Oh, it's the 60s or the 70s fault that you didn't win 5 championships, or you went 4 and 6 in your era, or this guy had more help. No, you went to go get more help, so in the long run you could be up there with the guys who have 5 or more titles, or guys that were dominant statistically and had statistical titles to show for it. That's how it was determined, in my eye, that statistically, that's how you were dominant, by statistical titles. Now, we might say Kobe is an anomaly because he played with Shaq. Or, we might put an asterisk beside him that he don't have a lot of statistical titles as far as scoring titles, because he got to play with Shaq. But, he rather had the 5 championships than the statistical titles. But LeBron James, he done had a chance as the era got weaker and weaker into the 2010s, to put up all kind of statistical titles, rebound titles, assist titles, scoring titles. He should have no less than 5 statistical titles for how weak the league got. It could be a mix. 3 scoring titles, assist title, and a rebound title. He should at least have 5. There's all-time greats that bury this guy in statistical titles that are supposedly ranked below him, way below him. So yeah, that's pretty much my Bill Russell story. He's gonna stay at number 4 for me. And you guys already know my order: Michael Jordan, Wilt, Kareem, and then like I said, we got Wilt, Russell, and Kobe at 4, and then Magic at 5. Magic ain't moving. Forget about it. I mean, we could put Magic higher. I mean, but we're just gonna keep him there. That's it. So, I find it was just a coincidence. They fired the coach of the Grizzlies. Why? They're gonna make the playoffs, so you're gonna fire them just in time so the Lakers play them tomorrow, Saturday. So they'll be in disarray with no coach. What a coincidence. Okay, folks, we'll see what happens.